I'm Andrea Fraga, and today I'm going to be speaking to you about LOCKTOP. So remember a time when you were working on your laptop in a public space and realized, shoot, I have to use the bathroom. You probably had a conversation with yourself that went something like, well, I could pack up my stuff, but I don't want to lose my table, and, but I also don't know how I feel about just leaving my laptop here, so, okay, I'm going to risk it. That is exactly the tension that I'm dealing with my product. People want the convenience of being able to walk away from their laptop in public spaces, but are concerned about the security of it, and often just risk it. So there are two main sets of people that experience this tension. One are students, who often work in public places like libraries or student centers, as well as professionals that work out of coffee shops. Often they are people that work from home or do consulting type work. So from talking with and observing these people, I learned a lot of the ways that they deal with this tension. So for example, some of them are very subtle, like we see in the middle here, setting up your stuff so it looks like you're coming right back, while some are much more deliberate. By mapping out the different solutions to this tension, we can see that some things like looking like you're coming right back are great because they're very effortless, but they don't really provide that much protection. While on the other hand, we have things like traditional cable locks, which provide a lot of protection, but are very cumbersome to use. What's most clear about mapping this out is there's a great set of white space and opportunity area for something that provides both, effortless protection. So I want to take a minute to talk to you about cable locks because they are the most common product solution on the market, and they're a good way to use as an example of the key requirements for a product in this space. So cable locks come in a huge variety of different products, but essentially they have the same core experience. And parts of this experience are great, but a lot of it is not so great. For example, transportation is a large pain point with cable locks. They're heavy and bulky to keep in your backpack, and a lot of users talked about having to lug around their cable lock. Because of the hassle of carrying it, a lot of users take it out of their bag, which adds the added step of having to anticipate when you're going to be in a public space and remember to put it in your bag. Another pain point for cable locks is the setup. To set up a cable lock, you have to duck under the table, wrap it around, loop it through itself, find the small hole in your computer, and lock it. This is an awkward process that's also time-consuming, especially if you're just trying to run to the bathroom. In addition, because it's very cumbersome, a lot of users talked about how they started using their product when they first got it, but then over time it felt more and more burdensome until eventually they just stopped using it altogether. And ideally, a product would get easier over time as it becomes habit. The one thing that cable locks do really well is they display the fact that the computer's being protected. One user put it great when he said, yeah, I guess I know they could just take the cable out from under the leg and walk away with the computer, but I think just by the fact that it's there, they're less likely to steal it. So that's one of the things cable locks do really well. Despite that, overall, cable locks are not so widely used. One user, Brandon, said it very well by saying, cable locks must be one of the most bought, least used products ever. This is an indication to the fact that there is a tension they're trying to solve. People want to be able to protect their computers, but there isn't an experience that allows them to do it routinely. So, learning from a cable lock, there are three main design requirements for any product in this space. That it's hassle-free to transport, setup becomes habit instead of becoming a burden, and it's highly visible when it's in use to deter theft. With that, I'd like to introduce LOCKTOP. So LOCKTOP is a small device that you plug into your USB so that when you're working in a public space, all you have to do is press the button and you can get up and walk away. A light comes on when LOCKTOP's active, and it takes your computer to your lock screen with a special signification that it's armed. That way, when you come back, all you have to do is type in your password and get back to work. If while you're gone, someone moves your computer, it sirens. The same thing happens if someone pulls out the USB. So one of the key features of LOCKTOP is that it's very small. This allows the user to just keep it in the USB at all times, similar to how what people do with the Bluetooth transmitter of wireless mice. Because it's in there at all times, you never need to remember to bring it with you because it's always there, making the transport of the product not a total non-issue. The setup of LOCKTOP is great because it fits users' current behaviors. So for example, users already leave their laptops open when they walk away. Additionally, it's very common for people to press a few buttons to take their computer to the lock screen before they walk away from their computer. So the lock screen aspect fits very nicely with people's existing habits. In addition, using a password in general is very habit-forming because it's just a matter of muscle memory. Since it's very common to already use a password, LOCKTOP is actually reducing the number of steps for someone that wants to get up and walk away from their computer, because now instead of doing the several keystrokes to lock their computer, they just have one dedicated button to do it. An additional advantage of the setup related to LOCKTOP is that you can use it anywhere. This is Chris, who I met at a coffee shop in Evanston, and he's working on a couch. There is no way for him to use a cable lock in this situation. Whereas for LOCKTOP, all you need is a surface where your computer is going to stay still. So getting to the visibility and protection aspect of the product, there are 3 ways that LOCKTOP displays that it's armed. A light on the USB plug-in, the custom lock screen that shows that it's armed, and a sticker that people have the option of putting on their computer, similar to the ADT stickers that people put on their homes for home security systems. These 3 signifiers are very important for a thief to know that it's detected and deter them from stealing the computer, as well as for the user to be comforted. If, despite all of these signs that the computer is protected, someone still tries to steal your computer, it also brings brings visibility to the fact your computer is being stolen. In a lot of cases now, when a computer is stolen, there may be people sitting right around that have no clue. This is a snapshot from a test we did in the Northwestern Library where Sam stole my computer and a siren went off. And this girl, who was facing totally the other direction, working on her computer, turned all the way over her shoulder to see him. So at a minimum, LOCKTOP enables bystanders to recognize what happened and recognize the thief. So what I just explained to you is the base model for what LOCKTOP could be. In a suite of products, where a premium model would include connection to your phone. I'd love to talk to you more about how I came up with this line and how I developed the product. But in conclusion, LOCKTOP was confirmed by users to provide the protection in an effortless way that people were looking for. Thank you so much for coming, and I want to give Walter a special thank you for all of his guidance and learning throughout this process.